Yeah, you were close enough. Eric Saraniecki. So I'll allow it. It's fine. Hello, everybody. As we've joked about already, my name is Eric Saraniecki, and I'm a co-founder at Digital Asset. At Digital Asset, our mission is to create the global economic network of seamlessly interconnected businesses. And everything that we do at DA revolves around our development framework that we call DAML. DAML is a framework for creating networks of system of records. So think about interconnected authoritative core data systems of any company. And DAML allows businesses to build applications that connect securely across disparate business processes or data boundaries without sacrificing privacy, being able to guarantee data integrity across all those distinct systems, and enforcing strict authorization at kind of the data layer, which I'll explain a little bit more in a minute. Tongue firmly in cheek, I like to claim that the world has always operated on distributed ledgers, but they're built atop a consensus algorithm called reconciliation, which is perhaps the worst consensus mechanism of all time. It's expensive, it's slow, it's prone to error and fraud. And this friction is really at the heart of why things like payments are slow, or margining is expensive, or capital requirements for financial institutions are astronomically high, just to name a few. And it's a strict requirement of any system built atop messaging where everybody runs their own distinct infrastructure. So using DAML, our customers are building things as grandiose and world-changing as equity settlement systems that eradicate the need for margining, or re-architecting how the repo markets cut out the cost of over-collateralization and inventory dislocation. The complete opposite end of the spectrum, so companies that are much newer to the world or earlier in their product life cycle, they're building more greenfield opportunities like peer-to-peer sports wagering markets without any counterparty risk, or markets for entirely new asset classes like securitized factoring receivables. We just see a big wave of financialization of different asset classes that otherwise were inaccessible or limited in scope to who could actually participate. So for anyone looking to start a market like that today, a new market, you're typically faced with really one of two options: DIY, lots of engineers, lots of time, lots of heartache, or you could buy. Surprisingly, the gap between do-it-yourself and buy is massive, and there are very limited options at the buy, multi-million-dollar, multi-year contracts, and kind of unfortunately buying something that's probably already 10 or 20 years old, or the rest of the world's already passed it by. So what I'm going to show you today is just a peek at what you can build using DAML. It's an example application. It's open source. It's a starter application that we affectionately call the market in a box. Anybody on this call, regardless of your technical capability, you could deploy this on your own in 30 minutes. Any developer that is halfway decent at writing code could modify the starter kit to meet their use case in probably just a few days. And any business could rely upon this to get to market faster than its competition that's either DIY or buying. So if you're interested to know how this can be modified to suit your needs or anything along those lines, please reach out to me and I'm more than happy to show you how we can do that. Okay, so let me share my screen. I'm going to do the most dangerous thing of all. I'm going to share a desktop, not a window. So bear with me if I get some really nasty notifications. Okay, and the other thing that's really difficult is that normally when I'm doing a marketplace demo, I have the luxury of being in person, and I've got a monitor per persona, and we could walk around a room and say, here's this entity and here's that entity, and you don't really lose track of what we're looking at. Unfortunately, I have to do it on a bunch of tabs across a small monitor. So what we're looking at is a distributed marketplace. It's an open marketplace. People log in, join, declare themselves. They say, hey, I would like to be an investor. They reach out to custodians in the system. Will you hold my assets? The exchange reaches out to people. Would you like to participate in our exchange? This is an open ecosystem where everybody plays their own role. Their data is segmented to make sure that data is not being overshared with anybody. And there's no true central operator of what's taking place in this ecosystem. On the left in these windows, I have a whole bunch of investors logged in. I'm one of them. This is a live system right now. We're in production for this. We've got Alice, Bob, and Charlie as well. And over here on the right, I'll take just a quick moment. This is all integrated into one of our partners, Xberry. They're a startup that is based on building cloud-native matching engines, highly performant matching engines. They've been really fantastic to work with on this project. We have other partnerships that we'll be announcing over the course of this year and rolling out that do things like clearing and payments and kind of everything else that you would need in the marketplace. But today, everything that we do on the DAML side is managing every investor, every relationship, anything that you can do in the system, all the order management, all the collateral management, deposits, everything along those lines. And whenever you want to place an order, that is integrated into a hyper-performant matching engine, aggregates all the orders, notifies us of any fills, and then we execute the settlements. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like really quickly, point out a couple things that are helpful there, and then I'm going to look under the hood and just show you a little bit what DAML looks like underneath. So I've already created in this system Bitcoin, Dollar, and Tesla as deposits that are eligible to be held by any custodian in this ecosystem. You see some live cap tables. I've already done some deposits into this ecosystem. The exchange can create any type of market pair. So any pair we can create, list, trade, and settle. So just kind of for fun, I created a Bitcoin Tesla pair. For those of you following at home, that's trading around 44 right now. But there are no exchanges that actually list this type of thing today. So that's a little bit of what's unique about this. It's just a very dynamic system where we can settle any type of pair. We can create it on the fly. And here we're looking at expiry. This is an aggregate of all the order books. If I were to show you each individual's bids and offers in the market, then you would see that it all adds up to the same thing over here on the right. Okay, so as myself, I have a wallet. I have holdings. I have Tesla, dollars, and Bitcoin. They're all held at a custodian. I'm always the ultimate owner of this in this system. The custodian is allowed to do things like service these assets or help protect for safekeeping, but only I can instruct transfers, only I can allocate funds. And the first thing that I'm going to do is, I'm going to pretend that this was a few months ago, and I just caught wind that that Paxos won a contract to help PayPal bring Bitcoin to the masses. And I've determined that I'm going to go rip the book and try to buy all the Bitcoin in the order book that's there. So the first thing I have to do is I have to move out of my free and clear custodial account and into my exchange sub-accounts. I'm going to move all my money. Once I submit this over, then this is available to be traded at the exchange. Go to the order book, take a peek. Let's see if I can buy this thing all the way up to 40,000. And let's see if I can buy $1 million. See what that looks like. Not enough money. Not enough money to do it. So let's try something else. Well, I think it's because I didn't deposit that much cash. So anyway, all I have to do is I'll place a smaller order. Maybe I'm trying to be too cute here. Let me try somebody else. It wouldn't be a demo if you didn't mess something up. It's up a couple hours ago, and I think I got logged out of something. But anyway, you would place an order, it would go into the book, and it would settle. It would be instantaneously available in your wallet. But let's look under the hood a little bit. Let's look at something that's a little bit more important, which is just what does DAML allow you to do, and what are some of the things that are preventing me from executing this trade right now because I didn't quite set it up correctly. So what we're looking at right now is Project Dabble. So this is our live environment for everything that runs and hosts all the components for your application. And there's a lot to it, but effectively this is a DevOps free platform. So you go to daml.com, you download the development kit, you can build any type of application, and then all you have to do is drag and drop and deploy it into this environment, and then you're off to the races. So what we're looking at here is like a live look at the database, and everything is segmented by party in the system. These different parties I've onboarded into it in a way such that the operator of this application can see the data that's there. But there are other users like those traders that I was just showing you before, and they are logged in a privacy preserving way where if I look at the users tab, I'll see that they are represented by UUIDs, and their data is not accessible in this system on the live data view. So if you have anyone that wants to participate in the network and make sure that their data is not shared freely with anyone else in the system, they can onboard in a private way that makes sure that their data is always segmented away from everybody else, only replicated to the appropriate parties. And when I go and I take a look at some of the data within the system, there's a few key properties to this data. So in DAML, we take a very data-centric view to how the world works. If you want to build a distributed system, you can't have the logic of who can interact with data and under what condition at a layer above the data, or else you have to distribute that logic as well. You can't have the logic of who is authorized to mutate this data to the layer that lives above the data, or else you would have to distribute that logic as well. So all of it devolves into the same thing, which is you have to put the logic that governs that information with the information itself. So here we see, looking at an asset deposit data type or data contract, the APIs. So what can I do with it? I can merge it with other, this is a fungible asset. I can split, a $10 bill into two $5 bill. And I can do things like set the observers. And in DAML, we have rights for who is allowed to see what at any given time, and that's listed in the data. So if I'm the owner of this data, it's in my database, I can see what's there, then I can also see who else has been authorized to look at it. And if I try to execute one of these APIs and I'm the wrong party, which I'm gonna try to do here, and it's going to tell me I'm the wrong party. So the authorization is built into the data model itself. So I get an error message and it doesn't work, because as the CSD, I might have the right to see this data, but I don't have the right to mutate this data. So everything that I was showing you in the UI that didn't quite work, unfortunately, is just a wrapper around these APIs. You authenticate into the API as the party. You can only view the data that you're explicitly an observer to, and you can only change the things that you are explicitly authorized to do. So you can just look around at all the different types of contracts and how it's all segregated and everything along those lines. The other thing that we could do here is we have integrations that are tightly coupled into this environment. So the Xberry integration is an external service to this cloud service. And every time you want to interact or place an order in the matching engine or receive a fill, rather than having to build your own middleware to connect to the external APIs, you can simply deploy this here, provide your credentials, and then you make all of your transactions through DAML interactions with the data, and it'll automatically call external APIs and make all its effects available on the ledger. So, whether you just want to interact by, being notified of something that's taking place in the system through Slack or Symfony, you want to add data to the system that might be used in some of your workflows, like a price feed, or you want to interact with an external system that's going to act over your data in different ways. We have different integrations that go hand in hand with it. So that's roughly at a high level where we are. The primary goal of our focus at Digital Asset is to make sure people can build really tight, really clean, interconnected systems without forcing everybody into one centralized service or one big ledger for them all, and allow people to build applications that give you all the benefits of being virtually in one ledger at a given time. And that's it.